Hey, team, how we going? Let's do this sound check to make sure I don't embarrass myself. Can we get some thumbs up to see if we're good to go? Just give us a thumbs up, anyone. Pretend you're a hitchhiker. It's okay. It's safe. Ivan Milat is no longer with us. Hitchhiking is allowed at your own peril, of course. Casman, how are we? I just need some confirmation on the sound, mate, and I'll be right with you. All good. Fantastic. Guys and gals, if you're watching this right now and this is your first time here, subscribe to the channel, become a member, have a one-on-one conversation with me. I'll call myself the king for the moment because I'm the only motherfucker that does what I'm doing right now. The only one. Been doing it for 10 years in the corner, looking after you. Not so much myself. It's not too bad. 54 years old. Australia! That's a call out to all those in Singo right now. Heard a whole bunch of them just failed their fitness after having 2 months off. It's going to hurt with the PDIs. And so, goddamn, we've got Pete Hegseth who's going to be with us today, the new Secretary of Defence, who's about to pick up all of the standards, hit the ground running, improve recruiting in 1 month. Well done. Let's go. We're going to be talking about that tonight. Guys and gals, War Pigs, call out to them. They're doing a fantastic job, the guys from 5-7. And you know what? This should be getting picked up by every single media team for every single battalion, including the Signals, especially considering it's their 100th anniversary today. The School of SIGs, congratulations, Mercury. The only hat badge with a naked man on top of it. There you go. If I was LGBT, that's where I'd be going. If your hat badge is a naked dude. Anyway, conversations a couple of days ago with a young lass who's joined the Navy. The Navy, that's right, one of the village people. It was one of the best conversations I've ever had because she knows what she wants. She knows when she wants it. Her family's been all about the legacy of serving. Man, I had a lump in my throat. I don't get moved that often. This young lass was 20 years old, really knows what she's doing, and she should get her Emmy for what she's doing. Mr. Buckaroonie, is Ukraine about to get the rough end? They are, but what do you call a rough end of the pineapple? If it means that another 200,000 men don't die, they should accept that, and they should accept it fast because NATO is not going to get involved in this one, and I don't believe Ukraine will ever be able to NATO. So if I was them, I'd save my people right now and look for a resolution. If the blood stops, I'm happy either way. Jackie Duff, Casman, how are we? I'm not too bad, mate. I haven't been able to keep up with all the great news that has been coming out of America because I don't see it as American news. Everyone follows America's trends, their music, their movies, their bad habits, their drugs, their females, their porn, everything. So I think it's fair enough to hang on to when they're doing something well. And they're doing something well. They're taking their country back. You know, let us know if you can, what is your favorite executive order that we're seeing real leadership, not managers, create, considering that Mr. Biden spent 40%, I'll say it again, 40% of weekend at Bernie's on holidays of his 4-year period. 40%. Joshy Fawns, you're more pumped than me. Nice. Mate, you're in Stockton, so I'm jealous of you, my man. Wingnut, he showed us what it's about, going back to the V8, getting involved, joining the military, fulfilling the boxes, ticking it, making it about himself. Just Jackie Duff says, just got an assessment date for the 17th of March. Jack, give me a call. We just messaged before, yep. But give me a call. Let's have a good chat tomorrow, and I look forward to it. Lloydie, I need to catch up with you as well. Buckaroonie, Certo Cedo. I'm not sure what that. That's their the Signals oath, I believe. Not their oath, their motto. Swift but sure. There you go. Thank you, Buckaroonie, and happy birthday to you, who spent over 20 years in the Signals Corps. Mercury the Messenger, comms via land, sea and air, and now they've also got text messaging. White Maz paper straws is a great deal. Absolutely. Got rid of the paper straws. Australia better get that back because there's not a single reason why we should have got rid of the plastic straw when Coles, Woolworths, and Aldi will still sell you every single other fucking thing double plastic bagged. That doesn't make any sense at all. We've got about 150 people in the School of Infantry getting ready to go into session, but a whole bunch of them, that were leftovers from last year aren't going into session, and they've got to go straight into 6 weeks rigorous training with the PDIs who are going to be their best brothers and worst nightmare. They keep away from the ice cream machine until they get themselves in a position they can pass their fitness test, because they were thrown under the bus in some ways by Kapuka, who passed on a not ready item to the School of Infantry. So, guys, if they had to come to this channel, they would have been prepared and they wouldn't have failed themselves in their family name. Murphy Shepherd, hello, Kaz. How are you, mate? I'm pretty good. I love your name. Murphy Shepherd. You'd have to be a protector with a name like that. Jared, got my enlistment date yesterday for the 12th of May. Mate, that's just far enough away, Jared, to piss you off, because it will feel like you're got forever, but at the same time, it'll always be in the back of your mind that it's coming, won't it? Where are we? I'm just going to have a look here so I can see how we're going. Have we got a crowd tonight or not many? Baby, not many. No, not many. You know what? If people don't want to come to the channel, it's been here for 10 years, it's their own fault. And if they fail again, it's their own fault. But we're here almost every Friday and Monday to try and help you guys in the absence of any help that any of us got. Anyway, 2 cartons are required. Hey, Kaz, in Singo at the moment, 2 cartons is required. Mate, Singo, goddamn hot place. Very hot. You're just about to hit the ground running. There's a course, bin bar is starting on Monday, which will take at least 50 guys into the fold that will become our brothers for the Skippy badge. That is in competition badge with Mercury. And I wish those guys luck, because there's always a chance of a spiral fracture, isn't there, when you jump off the half A-frame, etc., the OBS course. For the females, I hope that you don't get let down by some of the propaganda that might have drew you into somewhere where you don't necessarily belong 100%. But I'm always there to help you out with some advice. And remember, 3 times instructor at the School of Infantry. There's nothing they're going to tell you there that I probably don't already know, or can give you 2 or 3 different ways of doing it. Righto. We're going to jump into this video in a second. I've got to put the headphones on, which will make my ears look significantly smaller. Had my interview cancelled because of the Townsville floods. Dominic, okay, dude. That's outside your control, outside their control, and I'm sorry that you've had a delay because of a force of nature, a black swan event, if you will. Guys, basically the Avengers all get confirmed, except for Kash Patel so far in the USA, that is going to determine the way we're looked upon as a coalition partner. We've had red corn chip ships in our actual waters in the last day or so, which is basically like a test that they're giving to us to see what our reactions are, what a red line is, what we are likely to do to defend our homeland if required. Yeah, so that's what that is. It's just a goddamn test. George, Choco here, switching over to full-time, private, and they're sending me back to Kapuka. Fully qualified private. How long are you out for? But, Georgie, because that's unusual that they'll go into making someone go again over a what do you call it, qualification that is, despite the fact that I don't believe in the competency levels. Depending on what corps you're going to, mate, and how long you're in, Chocos, I'd make you do it too, to tell you the truth, to give you the best chance of having a better career. It'll give you a heads up. It'll give you a benefit. Unless you've got children, mate, that'll be missing daddy. I wouldn't about go there, be the best on the course, be nervous that you're not on the best on the course, and go from there. Logan Gibson, hey, Kaz, got told by DFR a couple of days ago that I now have a wait time of 6 to 12 months to get into infantry. Already been in the recruiting pipeline for a year and starting to lose motivation. Any tips? Mate, my tip has been out there forever to get onto the Patreon so I can assist you in whatever is happening to give you either an alternative to what's happening with you now or give you a heads up on what's actually occurring probably behind the scenes, mate. But I haven't heard anyone told that there's a wait for DFR, and I believe that infantry is still a priority role. I don't know what's happening with your case, mate, but we have not met. We've only met like 66% of the target for Kapuka infantry. Wingy says, got a funny story for you. Can handle all the PT, strength, conditioning, and pack marches, but put me in a touch footy game and I get a linear fracture of the rib and bursitis in the elbow. That's what happens when old men move fast, my man. Murphy Shepherd, how many years do you reckon in infantry is ideal? Well, I did 24 and I would have wanted to do more. So it depends on the individual. ADHD is a fantastic fuel. You can probably tell that I'm topped up to the gills right now. Say probably 6 to 10 years, mate. 6 to 10 years. It's like a compound interest. You don't really see the benefits of your time understanding until you actually wear rank. You know, private is nowhere near as good a rank as corporal, and I reckon sergeant rank. The reason is when you're a private, you don't always know what you're talking about. You know, you tend to whinge more than what you actually produce, you know, but at the same time, you can be very embarrassed as you get promoted and realize that you were wrong in many ways or didn't take into account the burden of command or the tolerance and the honesty that you weren't given to protect your feelings in many ways. Once you become a section commander, it's like being the captain of a football team. When you become a platoon sergeant, it's like becoming the coach. Righto? The platoon commander can be the franchise owner. His job is not to get emotional. His job is to say, do that. That's the effect. We carry all that out. You know, we can have great conversations about that if you wish as well. G'day, Kaz. Do you think Russia will make a temporary peace deal to rearm and come back even harder when Trump is out of office? No. They have likely to learn from their mistakes and it would be bad news. I think they've been trying to get out of this for a long time, Benny, for a long time. They want some land. They want the piece of land. Just slipped my mind. Crimea. I think they'd also love to have a little bit further to the west, all the seaports there to the Black Sea, etc. But yeah, no, I think he's learned his lesson, mate. Probably lost 1 million soldiers. You know, this is going to really affect his bottom line, his economy, the people that won't come back to Russia, his name being blighted as well. So who knows what happens from there. The real winners out of all of this is not going to be Russia, is not going to be Ukraine, but it will be probably places like BlackRock and the companies that are going to go in and rebuild Palestine and Ukraine. They'll make trillions. Jared had his PFA today. I was surprised at how many people are not at the standard. I think it's disgusting because the PFA I could do with a hangover. Quantum Time, 1885. Hey, Kaz, how does the School of Armour differ from the infantry training? It's almost completely different, mate. It's down at Pucker. You know, you're around a lot of the support corps. You're in vehicles all the time rather than at the School of Infantry where we're taught everything about light infantry, all dismounted drills. Yours will be all mounted. Ours are all dismounted. Ours are all physical. Yours are all doing tactics, or not necessarily tactics, but learning how to operate vehicles, etc. Multiple courses, driving courses, gunnery courses, all that sort of shit. They share the line, the FIBA, the forward edge of the battle area with the infantry. I believe that their role should be the same as infantry, armoured corps to seek out and close the enemy, to kill or capture him, to seize but not hold ground. That's infantry's job, regardless of season, weather, or terrain, and by day or night. Okay? So use to prepare for war. There is no peacetime value of armoured corps, right? Okay, what else we got? Robbie, we'll get on the video in a second. It's very interesting. Hey, Kaz, we had a chat the other day about to do my psych test tomorrow. Yeah, I know who I'm talking to. I'm keen. Thanks to you. Appreciate the help. Everyone, join Patreon. Look, honestly, it gets frustrating for me at times, but I wouldn't change it because I'm telling you now, I get to see all the photos of the people of their enlistment. I get to hear the stories, to see the faces, to have the communication with people, to hear the funny stories. Makes me loneliness is the epidemic of the modern lifestyle, and I don't get to feel that. So thank you guys. Happy Valentine's Day. If it's if you're not a dad or you haven't got a missus, go and make a mother tonight or tomorrow night. Wingnut, the PFA, from what I experience now, is the real bottom line of what you should be able to achieve. It's only getting harder, faster, and longer. And Joel Cross says, hey, Kaz, is infantry the best path for SF? Jolie Cross, it's really the only path, mate, because most of the skills that you learn as a battle drill, in infantry, weapons dexterity and language, tactics, leadership, and the proliferation of skills on a battlefield, they only get taught now in infantry. So, yes, especially if you're going to commandos. SF, you can go to these, you can go there under different circumstances, but for the best chance, mate, it makes sense. Yep. Pardon me. All right, guys, let's watch some of this video. And the funny thing is, when we watch this video, I've been saying exactly what Pete Hegseth, the Secretary of Defence, will say in this video to Sean Ryan. I've been saying this shit for 10 years. But for some reason, you have to be a celebrity before anyone will listen to common fucking sense. Now, one of our biggest problems is our armies are full of managers and got very few actual leaders, because all of the tough talk you normally hear is a private soldier or a section commander or a platoon sergeant speaking up. Don't give a fuck about a long career. I want you to know what you're doing is bullshit. This sucks. How come nothing's happening by all these leaders that are supposed to have the quality, which is moral courage, but I never hear a fucking peep. All I hear is protect my career at all costs. If that's not true, then how come transgender are allowed in the Australian Army, okay, when they've got mental health, suicidology? They're the last person you would want to be giving grenades and live ammunition to, then putting them under pressure in a stressful environment, giving them testosterone blockers to make them less effective fitness-wise, but still paying them the same as Jack Smith, the guy who's following his father's footsteps to get a VC in the future, righto? Yeah, I've been saying this shit forever, right? Unity, diversity. You're about to find out about both bits of that now. What have we got before we kick on? Don't hear, and when you hear me talking, you're not hearing me say, I don't like someone for their sexual, whatever you call it, what they prefer, unless it's illegal. Now, what I'm saying is there's jobs where certain groups do not fit in and should not be allowed in. G'day, Jelena. How you going, mate? Ethan Munt, everyone wants the Navy SEALs dead of force, and people you see on TV, absolutely, until they get a chance to go and try out for it, and then there's just crickets. Mr. Buckerin, he says, Jack O'Brien, mate, Kaz is deployed to Rwanda, East Timor, and the Sinai. Absolutely. And out of all of those, I reckon the Sinai was the best, because I had a bigger voice in the overall conversation. Loved to become an Egyptian citizen just to do so. But that's making some of you think, what the hell? Imagine telling your friends that are going to be tradies, going to university, oh, by the way, I won't be able to talk to you for a while because I'm about to become an Egyptian citizen, get an ARE card, and go and become the head of security in the Middle East. That doesn't impress the girls, but that's okay. Have a look at what we've got going on now with Pete Hegseth. How good is it to see Tulsi Gabbard get the job? Native-born, Hawaiian female, lieutenant colonel serving National Guard, who is now going to pull the arseholes across the coals. Pete Hegseth, who's in there at the moment, kicking, holding people responsible at all levels for the decisions they've made to degrade the military. Elon Musk, one of the most intelligent businessmen on earth, who's finding trillions of dollars of malfeasance. We need him over here. Let us know right now, do you want Elon Musk to come over and clean up our ending? Do you want him to come over and clean up our government fraud? I do. My hands up, absolutely. All right, let's go. What have we got here? All right. we don't need to say, hey, look, call out to anyone other than Pete here and Sean Ryan. For those guys that watch it, Sean Ryan's excellent. Not see Mason, kind of ridiculous how we are desperate for personnel, but applications can take up to a year. Look, there's a mixed message there. Not Sue Mason. I see what you've done there with your name. Fantastic. Because some people are getting in 6 weeks. Yeah. And then other people have been there for a long time. There's complicated cases, simple cases, and then there's DEI hires. That's the sad thing. Answer this question. How does a female join the military and get a 4-year medal for doing 2 years? Doesn't have to get a haircut, doesn't have to shave, right? Can get pregnant, doesn't get in trouble for fraternisation, and gets out after 2 years and gets a 4-year medal doing a fitness test at the age of a 46-year-old male. Gets paid the same. All right. Which special force is the best in the other words, the toughest? SAS, followed by commandos. All right, team, this guy's going to say everything I've said to you in the past. I hope you love it, and let's see what you've got to say about it.
The deeper question is, how did the military allow itself to go woke? Meritocracy and lethality, of excellence, of no excuses, of equality and unity, not equity and diversity is ours. The dumbest phrase on planet Earth in the military is our diversity is our strength.
I've had the...
How good's that? Our diversity is our strength. No, it's not. Our diversity means you're taking different things. That means you're allowing people in that don't normally fit into that area, give them a DEI hire so you don't hurt their feelings, and ultimately bring down the actual capabilities, validity, and capability of our fighting force. And guess what? Sounds like a good idea until we go into the fight, and then we start losing people, or people start running from the fight, like we've seen some police do recently. It's not what you want. It's not what you need. Does this sound like familiar words I've been saying for 10 years? Well done, Pete. He's saying it. You never hear our leaders saying it.
Most badass American warriors that we've ever produced on this show. And everybody says the same thing.
Everyone's saying the same thing. Fuck off, DEI. If I'm going to fight and potentially die and come back on my shield, saving Private Ryan, then give me the chance to fight with the people beside me who train to protect my shoulder as I train for themselves, meet the lowest standard required for the BFA, the PFA, or any test they can get to make their job a little bit easier, and then complain victim or thyroid when they can't keep up.
We don't all say it on camera because it doesn't, we don't always go into that, but I do ask them, all of them, like, how is it? How is it in there? Especially the guys that just got out. They're all disgusted. They're all demoralized.
Totally. But it's this time and time again, which
institution?
The Department of Defense, the military, the Army,
the thing is,
service.
You can get away with being a little bit less in the Air Force because it's not a kinetic career. Your fitness is not going to determine the life or death of most people. What it can do is your mental resilience will come down over time in adverse conditions over prolonged periods. So it's always important. Sharp mind. Sharp mind comes with fitness and clarity and oxygen traveling through the brain, as well as controlled aggression. Some people would call that toxic masculinity. But Navy, again, sure, they need to be physical, like everything else, but you've also got to keep the hygiene down on a ship. But Army, it doesn't matter if you transport, it doesn't matter if you signals, it doesn't matter if you're intelligence corps, infantry, whatever. Because I can tell you now, the one people that the special forces don't want to run into is people like myself, infantry, standard rifle company, war fighters that are waiting and looking for them, who's hunting them, But if you're transport or signals, that is the Willy Wonka golden ticket. If I can get my hands on those guys with my infantry fighting platoon or organisation, that'd be fantastic. We'd love it. Let's keep going.
And it started with a central question, the book. would I recommend my kids join the Army today or the military today? And that used to be an open and shut case for me. It used to be absolutely hell yeah. Like,
Yep.
I want my kids to have the kind of ethos where they would. And we've got a blended family of 5 boys and 2 girls. So that's a real question. You know, oldest is 14, youngest is 7. Like, they're not that far away from having the opportunity to make that decision. Would I recommend that? And it used to be, of course I would. And over the last couple of years, it became clear, like, would I?
But what he's about to say, what I imagine, because I haven't watched this yet, is everything has changed. With Donald Trump being in, there is a spike in happiness, in morale throughout all of the USA and some of the greater common sense countries around the world. Now they know dad's back in town. The other thing is that the US military not meeting their targets because of DEI hires, because both of my mums at me, those ads are gone. Military has come back in and their recruiting has actually spiked. Now they've got a real leader who's getting rid of DEI. So they're showing you straight away. The men that fight the battles, the men that die and stay and don't run, you know, they want strong leadership. Why would you join if you know that you're going to be let down by leadership? If you know they're going to back you up, if you know they're only going to give you a tenacious training regime that prepares you for war, so that when you do go, that you're surrounded by like-minded people that you love like brothers, regardless of what their sexuality is, rather than what their color or religion is. If you know that you're with a strong team, all you care is, you know, chilling out together, and they become your first love. And it's one of the reasons why military have such a hard time of marriages, is because if it is your calling, then your first marriage is normally to your actual uniform. Yeah, sounds weird, but that's what it is. This shit needs to flow onto this country. We are weak as fuck. We saw that with Dana White. We saw that with Sean Strickland. They came over and they said, we remembered you guys as being strong. We remembered you being a country that people stood up to. We remember you being a country that Rommel said he'd love to have people like Australian soldiers. And now they come here and say, you look like you're in a communist nation. Got an alarm for everything. Revenue raising from the police for everything. You know, phone camera. You know, for red light cameras, you know, parking tickets costing a week's wages, all of these different mandated things. I heard a really good one today, and it's like we're playing a game of sport and there's more referees than players. That's an excellent way of looking at it.
I don't know. And you talk to more and more guys, and they're having the same, they're either a hell no, or they're saying, yeah, for the first time in my life, you know, I'm in the family business. It was my dad, my grandfather, they all served, and I'm second guessing whether I want my kids to. And so the book kind of helped me figure that out. And the last chapter of the book is a letter to my boys about whether I would want them to serve. And I can write that chapter until the end. So I wrote the whole book, and then I was like, okay, I want to look at the depth of what's happening to our warriors, because it's not, the book isn't just how the military went woke. Mm-hmm. There's plenty of those examples, mm-hmm. and we feature them prominently on Fox, and you've seen them, and just the nonsense. The deeper question is, how did the military allow itself to go woke?
Every single problem is leadership. Every single one. You cannot blame the soldier because it doesn't make policy. G'day, Blakey. Here you go, mate. The soldier just turns up and says, what do I have to do? And then they get told, this is the standard. This is the skills. Are you ready? Are you a volunteer? Do you consent? Get on the bus. You know, that's all they do. Leadership is the one that makes the policies. And that is because something happens between major and general where people start to think, you know what? I like the politics more than I like the military. You know, it's more important for me to stay in the saddle for the rest of my life, even ready to sometimes allow their legacy to be torn to pieces if it keeps them rubbing shoulders with those who pretend to like olives instead of those that are preparing for war. Blixes, QT, hey Kaz, it's Harry. Nice to finally catch you live, mate. QT, that's the hotel I always staying in Canberra. Do I think that WW3 will happen? No, I don't. The new commander-in-chief is in town. I think the WW3, you know, I can't say it out loud because you get in trouble for that, is World War III. is an economic war that's been going on for years now. Okay, but that's all changing too. Mr. Buckaroo, Kaz, the Bruce Highway opened today after 2 weeks. North Queensland screaming. Scullies were pulling them over, checking their trucks. What a load of shit. I don't understand it. You know, when I see my own doing something wrong, we call it out. If I was a cop and I saw cops being dicks, I'd call it out. If I was a politician, I see a politician doing something wrong, I'd call it out. Isn't it funny that Donald Trump's hardest hitting avengers ought to be Democrats, but when they got a chance to say, what do you want more, success and legacy, or do you want it to be your politics? They said, you know what, whoever gives me the chance to make a difference to protect children in America, whether that be securing borders, whether that be bringing down the obesity level where over 66% of Americans don't qualify for recruiting for the military or the draft. You know, you've got to get the right people for the job, and I don't care who they are, what color they are. You know, if they're more capable, you know, then what do I need to be the bottom level score? Yep, give them a job, give them a jersey, you know, and I'll salute them. Hit that thumbs, Jack. If joining infantry is important, what if getting deployed doesn't happen? Training for nothing? No, you're not training for nothing. Jack O'Brien, everything you do in the military gives you a goddamn fantastic life. It doesn't matter if you'd rather be in peacetime flying in a helo over the ocean with the doors off it with your brothers, or would you rather be in the same position be taking flak from an anti-aircraft weapon? I don't want war, and you shouldn't want war, because I think if you see it, you won't like what you see, and you've got to live with it for the rest of your life. And if you want conflict, you've got to be prepared to lose all your friends just to meet your bucket list. You don't want that. What are your thoughts on those Sydney nurses having been fired over the anti-Semitic comments? I think it's sad. I think they got caught up in the moment. I think they were the dickhead of the day, you know, and they're going to pay for that for the rest of their life. That's what I reckon. Should they be fired? Absolutely. Were they fired? I believe so. I wouldn't want to work beside them, you know, because I tell you now, in Israel, you know, the Jews have no problems with their paramedics and hospitals working on Arabs. You know, their job is to preserve life. It shouldn't matter who's in front of you. It doesn't mean an example of that as a soldier. I don't have to hate the person I'm shooting at either. I've just been given the orders to do so, and the mission means that he's doing the same to me. But he doesn't hate me either.
How did our general class, how did our military academies, how did military leaders who are expected to live by an ethos and a code, who's they're in the job of meritocracy and lethality, of excellence, of no excuses, of equality and unity, not equity and diversity is ours. The dumbest phrase on planet Earth in the military is our diversity is our strength. It's fun. Our unity is what unites us, our unity of effort, our ability to say, yes, we're different, but we come together as a team to accomplish a mission. So I spent the better part of a year and a half talking to vets.
We're going to come back to what Mr. Pete's got to say here. I'm just going to answer a couple of these questions. Jack, yeah, that's true, but I don't think it makes sense to train for something and then get used and then get to not get to use it. I don't know, maybe it's okay, so you reckon someone should play for the NRL, NFL, Premier, you know, potentially, and unless they're on the field every game, they shouldn't train? No. You train for war so you beat those that you're up against, and the word gets out you don't want to fuck with those dudes. We all know with the UFC, you know, MMA, the person who trains hardest normally wins. You know, and it's what you do when you're not getting supervised that normally determines, are you special forces quality or not? It's what you do when no one else, it's what you do when no one else is watching, that you're not ticking off, you're not putting on Instagram. You know, those are the guys that one day you see them in action, go, how was he that good? How did someone become a billionaire? Because they worked when you were sleeping. That's simple.
And not just vets, but connecting through a network of a lot of guys I know. I host my show on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday in New York. So I've got Saturday afternoon wide open. And I spent for months Saturdays just on the phone anonymously with guys in service. So senior listed, junior officers, senior officers, all branches, MOSs, eras, but mostly guys in right now, generals, privates. And all the same themes came out. The woke stuff is everywhere. I feel like I'm walking on eggshells. I heard that all the time. Eggshells. I'm a commander. I walk on eggshells. I train commanders. They're walking on eggshells. They're afraid of one misstep on one identification or one gender thing or one racial thing or one trans thing. And the priorities are upside down on what the units are focusing on. And every single one of those distractions me on behalf of our nation to bring our boys home. That's all I care about. That's what I want our military focused on.
And that's what Americans focus on. When you speak to a lot of senior Australian officers, they're talking about their political career. It doesn't feel like they want to be that infantry officer. They don't spend enough time in the junior officer ranks to actually, understand it. I don't believe it should be 10 years. 10 years. 1 year as a captain. The rest of your career as a major, unless something happens, opportunity arises where you go above that, and there you go. How about the nurse who recently immigrated to Australia but had social media posts where he's leading prayer in martyrdom? Okay, that's not really the subject tonight, but I believe that anyone that migrates to Australia should have dual citizenship, keep their dual citizenship as soon as they have a violent crime or something related to crime like that. It doesn't have to be here for 30 years. They get sent home. It's up to their family where they go with them. Keep that passage open so you can kick them straight back out of the country as soon as they take us for granted. Unfortunately, we've got so many Australians that, you wish you could deport them, but they're Australian. Talking about diversity, and unity, we should only have one flag, and that's the Australian flag. That's it. Anything more than that is creating diversity, is creating, what would you call it? Diverse, not diverse, complexities that don't need to be there. We're Australian. How are we supposed to think we're Australian when there's 3 or 4 flags on flagpoles? How old were you when you joined, and what was your career after that? Okay, I was 19 when I joined the Army. I was 17 when I joined Army Reserve. I was there for 24 years. I got out. About a year later, I started doing YouTube, and I've been doing that ever since. When I'm not doing that, well, that's basically what I'm doing, because I'm an army of one, pretty much. But I spend most of my day on Patreon calls helping people. I can tell you now, you'd be an idiot to not get on Patreon. You absolutely, to be able to have one-on-one conversations when you request it, jump on the Black Legion, come and join us. So this weekend we talk to you and we become your army of one cheer squad, a fucking multiple times instructor, also long-term veteran. The only person that's here to help you, the only one. Why you wouldn't take it up for the price of a coffee, I'll never understand. And we have some laughs as well. All right, what else we got? Let's keep going, Pete.
And so, I tell a few of my own stories in the book, but the book's not about me at all.
How do you think that this is happening?
Well, it's a long story. I think it's because they're ideologues who want to bring a meritocracy to heel. That's where I think it starts. I think you have politicians who don't want to tolerate. They want to use it to tinker. And then they also don't want to tolerate an institution that's antithetical to their social experiments. Because the military, the book lays this out. Of course, like the integration of the military racially was a huge success, because Black men and Hispanic men and others can perform just as well as white guys in any capacity that they're given. So the reality of life reinforced that the big already inside the military, and the military did a great job doing that. But now we're pushing boundaries on lots of different levels that are different than that, because men and women are different, because being transgendered in the military causes complications and differences. And the book kind of lays out the common arguments that those on the left or others make which are baked in social justice. So it started, we saw it under Clinton with the tinkering of don't ask, don't tell, and the reasons for those changes. And I talked to some of the people, and that was changed. But it really it's because they looked around at the bureaucracies that they controlled in Washington, and the one that was that they didn't control. The Obama spent the Pentagon. They were skeptical of leadership and eventually brought in political appointees and generals who would do their bidding the way they wanted, which, as you know, in a top-down organization, changes the ethos of the whole thing. So the book is meant to pull the whole curtain back, Obama forward, and explain how the army that I enlisted in, or that I swore an oath in 2001 and was commissioned in 2003, looks a lot different than the army of today, because we're focused on a lot of the wrong things. I mean, you know this. You could talk about it all day, I bet.
We could. I'm trying to organize my thoughts here, figure out what rabbit holes to go down. But I mean, they've been wildly successful in morphing the military into this whatever you want to call it. And I do want to. Do you want to talk about? I don't want to forget about having your kids join the military.
Sure. Yep.
Maybe we end with that.
Sure.
Because I have a lot of thoughts on that too. But I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, I think about this all the time. I mean, you watch the show. I've had active duty guys on. I've had the most badass American warriors that we've ever produced on this show. And everybody says the same thing. They don't all say it on camera. We don't always go into that, but I do ask them, all of them, like, how is it in there? These, especially the guys that just got out, they're all disgusted. They're all demoralized.
Totally.
I feel like the gas really got turned on when the defund the police movement happened. I knew it was going to bleed in because I thought the defund the police, I was like, this isn't about this shit. They want to rid the LE agencies of the old guard because they all think alike. They do a damn good job. And so let's destroy it and rebuild it with a new mindset. And that happened. I think that happened. Do you think it happened?
Yes, I do. I mean, if you look at the back cover of the book, it says, I joined the Army to fight extremists in 2001. 20 years later, that same Army labeled me one.
Yeah.
So I got out because, and I can tell the story or not, an extremist because of a tattoo by my National Guard unit in Washington, D.C. And my orders were revoked to guard the Biden inauguration. But all of this, so you have what happened with George Floyd.
What a punishment.
I know. It's actually, you put it that way, you're exactly right. You're exactly right. But you had the George Floyd riots, and then I was also in the DC Guard during what happened in front of the White House. You remember the insurrection that
military, other than the commander-in-chief himself, actually calling out the bullshit. This is the leadership that I'm talking about. When people actually ring me on Patreon and ask me about, okay, what are the qualities of a leader? You're seeing it all here. National Guard, he's had a Bronze Star for Afghanistan and Iraq. And since then, all he's been about is physical training, communicating, and giving back to the fraternity that he was part of. Fantastic. This is what I want. Freddie, we should have a decent amount of veterans representing Australians in Parliament who are there for the country and not the money. Absolutely, Brady. And that's the reason why the 1960s and 70s were a golden age, despite they were still hard times for Australia, was because all of the teachers, and all of the police, and all of the people that mattered were either a veteran or the son of a veteran. They knew what it was really like. That's why most of the old people are so good at fiscal maturity, because they know what it was like to have no money at all. And now they don't spend it, and they go to their graves with their own family members sitting on the fence like crows, waiting to pick at their bones. Simon Powell, I couldn't be in Parliament. I watched too much. Yep.
burned the church down and got to the gates of the White House. I was there the second night through the fifth night of all of that. I was a 04 major holding a riot shield because they didn't have enough guys. So we were just out there doing our thing and explain a little bit about that. That happens. Then January 6th happens. And with political appointees who've long since been burrowed in and generals who are all in for the politically correct agenda. They maybe kept their head down during Trump because he didn't want to hear about it. Guys like Milley, guys like Austin, they were right there waiting in the wings, ready to go. And once the combination of Floyd and January 6th happened, they went all in. Treat extremism. That's we talk all about that in the book. Gadsden flags are signs of radicalism. Get the bumper sticker off your car. A Jerusalem cross tattoo, which is just a Christian symbol.
Is that the
this is the one?
Is that the tattoo?
Yep, right here. This one is what got me disinvited, or I'd never had orders revoked before. I mean, listen, it's a standard deal. You remember after January 6th, everyone was in Washington, D.C. Like Nancy Pelosi had the parking garages full of National Guardsmen.
Mm-hmm.
The fence was up. I was going. And my commander called me a day before tepidly and was like, Major, you can just stand down. We don't need it. We're good. And I'm like, what do you mean? Everybody's there. He's like, no, he couldn't tell me. And then, of course, when I was writing the book, I reached out to somebody in the unit who could confirm with 99.9% certainty because he was in the meetings and on the emails. Nope. Someone inside the DC Guard trolled your social media, found a tattoo, used it as an excuse to call you a white nationalist, an extremist. And you were specifically by name orders revoked to guard the inauguration because you were considered a potential threat.
How is that? It's a cross.
Let us know if you watch Sean Ryan. I think he does a fantastic job. And honestly, mate says, keen to have a real chat about my career. I welcome your help, legend. Mate, I can talk to you tomorrow. All you need to do, if you join today, team, I'll be talking to you if you can talk yourself tomorrow via the bat phone. That's all you need to do to get that one-on-one commentary. Hope you enjoy it. The link's right there. Guys, this guy's a legend. We see guys go to join the army. They're already 24 years old. Chances are you've already done something that is unforgivable to people within the right sectors that are the wrong sectors for you when it comes to recruiting. And we're seeing some really, really good soldiers getting told no because of whether it be tattoos, whether it be for something that could be managed. I'd love to have some of these inglorious bastards in my call sign, give them a chance and let them know that I was the one that gave them a chance, and I will take the rap on the knuckles if you can't meet the standards required. Prove them wrong. Make the winning franchise. I'd love that. At Singo, mate, big day starts on Monday. I hear you've got an open day tomorrow as well. Yeah. Have a good time in that heat.
It's a Christian symbol. That's all it is. There's a lot of guys, but I got a Christian symbol here. I got, because it wasn't about that. It was about, I don't know, I'm too conservative? Is it because I'm a Trump supporter? Is it because I was a reporter on January 6th?
So they just didn't want you there. No matter where you're watching Sean Ryan Show from, if you get anything out of this, please.
Righto. Okay, recruiting stats. We'll have a look at that one in a second. Tywin Shepherd? You're one of them. You're going to be suffering in the heat as well, are you, buddy? Well done, mate. Well done. You're very welcome. Guys and gals, we were talking before about the stats of people getting in the Australian Army. What I'm going to finish off now, but I am going to make a video of this. Wait 2 seconds. We might do it now. So you remember this moment. It seems like all these new American leaders have everything our Aussie ones don't. Absolutely. One of the hardest things, Blin XS QT. One of the hardest things is when life in Australia. We're a bloody beautiful country, and we've got amazing people. Getting worse, but still amazing people. And you think to yourself, the life that you used to have in Australia isn't available anymore, but it is available in the US. Over there, you can still have an F-150 truck, with a rifle rack with your M4 in the back, driving around, quickly pull over, handbrake, rifle out the window, crack. Okay, there's your food for the next 2 weeks. Now, you used to be able to do that. Now it seems like everything is trying to stop you from having a good time or a life. It seems that way. And I wish it wasn't the case. Let's have a look at something else. Present, share screen. Just in case you don't believe me, team, check this out. Recruiting. What we'll do is I'll make myself a little bit smaller here so you can see it. So according to recent data, the Australian Army is currently experiencing a recruitment shortfall, failing to meet its targets with only 66% of its 23 to 24 full-time ADF member recruitment goal achieved. Women made up 27%, of new recruits, while Indigenous Australians represented 6.2%, which is way above, what their percentage of the Australian representation is of enlistments. The permanent ADF headcount decreased slightly, while the reserve force saw an increase in numbers. It's starting to, the word's getting back to me. The guys in the battalions are loving it. So it seems like the actual politics only goes till the end at Kapuka, and then they pass the problem on to the rest of the army, and then from there, the politics is gone. They get back on with war fighting, what it's all about, which is all good news. So don't let this be bleak. Let me tell you something else that we're going to finish with, and I might actually, oh no, I can't do it. I was going to cut a bit out and put a small video from this one. But what I'd say is get rid of these headphones. One sec, what do we got there? One sec, we've got a new individual to Patreon. We'll do a quick call out for this handsome young person. And future. I hope you're ready for some dark humor as well. Guys, let me say something to you. When we communicate with you about all this sort of stuff, and you may be thinking to yourself, Kaz, you don't sound like you're really supporting the army, mate. That's not the case. I absolutely love the Australian Army, and I believe that we're the best small army in the world. So I'm going to spend a couple of minutes here just explain to you something that you need to hear. Well, let's go to here so you can see a little bit more. Where are we? Wait a sec. Okay. Team, I totally endorse joining the Australian Army. When I see people that go to join, when I see people that go to join university and know that at the moment they may not have the maturity to be able to commit themselves to the requirements of a university degree while balancing that with part-time work, love, all that sort of shit. And then I think to myself, you've got the tradies who are going to be treated like an Egyptian slave for the next 4 years, and it still may not work out for them. And then there's going to be the pressure to expand, scale up. I think to myself, man, 10 years is going to go by, even if they're in the mines, 10 years is going to go by and they may have nothing other than Hey, Tim, how we go? Yeah, there we go. That should be it. There we go. 10 years is going to go by was the last words we heard. Okay. It's funny too that because I've been doing this for 10 years and, you know, I've never managed to get this stable bloody internet, have we? Look, you see those guys in the background? You're seeing Indonesian troops there, you know, working beside Australian troops in the jungle. Guys, your life can have everything. You know, committee. Go and watch that movie about a guy who dared to dream. Be part of something that is bigger than just chasing money. You know, that will not make you happy. You'll make someone else happy, you know, but it won't be you. You'll make your kids happy, maybe, you know, buying their happiness. You might make a chick happy for a little while. If you have one big bust up, everything you've ever worked for is gone. 24 years in the military. And honestly, guys, I can't get over how lucky I was to serve. The officers I worked for were excellent. You know, the soldiers that I worked with were great. The best times were the worst times. We only ever talk about the hard things. You know, no one had been to war since Vietnam when we joined. And then all of a sudden, we're getting back-to-back trips. We weren't doing back-to-back trips. We were doing exchanges. You know, seeing American officers saying, I wish we had some guys like you in our call sign. Now, Australians still hit well above their weight. All it is the pool of people we're recruiting from is getting smaller and smaller and shallower and shallower. So we still need the right people to join. And who is the perfect person to join the military? It's someone who wants to live their life, someone who wants to be proud of what they do, someone that wants to stand up and be counted, is normally a team sport player, you know, who doesn't want to be the captain of the ship, who is happy to be part of the winning team. You don't want to be the quarterback. You don't want that bloody burden of command. You don't want that. Go in there, be one of the boys. So many people want to go and be an officer and they spend the whole time guarding what they're saying. Now, you can go in there and say what you want and be a private, then be a franchise leader by being a section commander, you know, having an armoured vehicle with a name that you put on it. My dad's vehicle was called Manticore, I believe, in Vietnam. Yeah. Army is the dream. We've already told you they're multi-millionaire. You know, just join an infantry. You know, I need to do that video again. Not someone who has epilepsy. No, sadly, you know, epilepsy, you won't get in, you know, and that's one of the sad things too. We meet people that are 99% perfect for the career, everything about them. A little act of God, you know, something there, a hidden ingredient, too much MSG in the meat, and their dreams are torn to pieces, and it is tragic, absolutely tragic. My sister, Stevie, my sisters, twin sisters, have both got epilepsy, and one of them actually died from it. God bless her soul, Trina Caswell, love her very much, and I miss her. It's a horrible ailment to have. They feel normal. You miss your medication once, bam, you become a rap dancer on the ground. You know, it can't be trusted to drive or be around machinery. It can be a real invisible curse. Guys, I think we're about to be in the golden years. I think we've been speaking for years now of the pendulum coming back. I think what's happening is we're starting to experience it coming back. We need our education system to get torn to pieces. Okay. Yeah, it is, Bucko. It is. We need the education system to get overhauled. We need NDIS to get overhauled. We need our judicial system to get overhauled. The way people are acting, especially in North Queensland and down to the south in Victoria, way with that, you know, is because we're in a first world nation that turns another cheek so often because we're a Judeo-Christian nation. You know, if you were in other countries around the world, whether it be an Asian country, an Arab country, you know, you wouldn't see this problem. It wouldn't occur, you know, because the repercussions for actions is swift, fast, and brutal. Okay, I'm going to get out of here too. Guys and gals, sorry about the glitchy stuff. You know, it's been a little while since I've been on. But that's mostly because I've been on Patreon continually talking to people. And when I'm not on Patreon, I've basically just been looking after the little one. My holidays were fantastic. She's about to have her first sleepover tomorrow at someone's house. I'm a helicopter dad. Scares the shit out of me. I've only got one kid. Love her to death. I hope you love your kids. Today's Valentine's Day. I took her shopping today, bought her flowers. You know, I want her to know that men will come and go in her life, but her dad will always be there. You know, our girls are a commodity. They might think sometimes they're taken for granted, but most of the time we just want them to shut up and stop whinging. You know, I'd stay on the Titanic for our girls. I would. You know, I'd wear a uniform to protect them, you know, and I'm sure you would too. When a scream in the night occurs, we turn up. And that's what good people do. Look after your family. Mucho respecto. We're going to try and get a whole bunch of new videos out, you know, where we're going to be doing some reactions to things. And some of them, you're going to be laughing at this one, Brady and Simon Powell. Some of these are going to be basically so you're like a rodeo rider, you know, where you have just got to try. I'm daring you to watch the whole video. It's going to piss you off so much. And it's basically male and female Karens absolutely embarrassing themselves for prolonged periods of time against police, law enforcement, and others. I take some sort of sick enjoyment out of watching it when they finally go too far and get shit whipped. So see you later. Take it easy. Have you here? Wholeheartedly agree, Kaz. Wingy, we're overdue a phone call too, my man. You grizzly old wisdom bastard. Brady says, people check out John Armfield's channel, Navy clearance diver with an axe to grind with ADF. His brother's death has been stonewalled. He just joined Gerard Rennick party. I haven't heard of this one either. I'll look into that. Thank you, Brady. The Lurker. G'day, mate. How are you going? Hey, guys, have a great weekend, and everyone. We will have a great weekend. Have some Coca-Cola. Tomorrow morning, I'm supposed to be getting up early with one of my retired cop mates and going to the beach in an unromantic kind of way. No Ricky Martin on. And going to have one of the last swims before the water gets a little bit too cold down here. Tomorrow, Sunday. Let's go for any given Sunday. Let's talk on Sunday, Wingy. Don't vote Labor, folks. Don't vote Labor. Snake in the grass. They always have been. Peace, love, and brown rice, says Simon. And have a good one, Kaz. Peace out and all. You too. And Judah, I know you didn't dob on us, mate. You go and have a good day. Hand in hand in Speedos. Yeah, but we won't spill our coffee, my man. Take it easy. Thanks for your time. You know, sorry for sometimes the quality of the internet. Hope the message at least had enough energy, and I hope that you spend a little bit more time to look at where your politics at the moment, because that's what you're supposed to be talking about as you get older. Talk about religion, talk about politics, and that way you can't ever get the the wool pulled over your eyes, so to speak. Take it easy, lads. I'm proud of you guys as a channel. I really am. I know I really appreciate you. You know, thanks a lot. Thanks for giving me this time. And to the Raffy in blue, okay, Simon Powell, thanks for your time, mate. It's always appreciated. Brady Cars, good night, Flyboy. There he goes. Take it easy. Life could be so much worse. And let's hope this war in Ukraine is about to come to an end, regardless of where the new border is. God bless them. See you later, team.